Yeah.
Yes, welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Sapiens Talks, where we learn the life skills, right? We learn the strategies, we learn the secrets to becoming the best version of ourselves. I'm Jitin Namdev, your host, and today we are going to dive into a topic which can transform not only your career but your entire life. And the skill and the topic we are going to discuss today is how to become an effective public speaker. Right. Imagine that you are in front of a big gathering. Your gathering may be your colleagues. It may be the room packed with professionals, or it may simply be a virtual crowd which you are going to take care of. And suppose it means your heart is pounding, your palms are sweaty, and but when you start speaking your words captivate people, your words influence people, and your words have the people awestruck with your communication skills. And that's the power of effective public speaking. And this is something we are going to discuss today, right? And one more thing I want to discuss with you is that public speaking is not really a child's play. It's not a kid's stuff. It needs a lot of practice. It needs rigorous practice. It needs consistent efforts. Then only then will you be able to master this particular skill. And today, as I've already shared with you, public speaking is not all about having seminars and delivering some speech. It is also about how to talk in front of people. They can be your relatives, they can be your friends, they can be anybody. I mean, whenever you talk to people, you leave an indelible impact on people's lives. They must think that this is the person they have ever talked about, they have ever talked to, because the kind of impression, the kind of effect you have on people, that is going to be long lasting. And this is only possible if you have mastered the art of public speaking. And now, one more thing I want to tell you is this: that uh, this is a skill. This is the skill which is not actually taught, which is not the part of our curriculum. This is not the part of uh, our universities, our schools. Yes, sometimes we have noticed that we also get some chances to master this particular art, to deliver something. But there has to be somebody to teach you this. There has to be somebody to guide you. But we get the opportunity in schools and colleges and universities, but we are not guided, we are not mentored. And here will be talking about some techniques, some tips, some experiences which will definitely turn you into a perfect, and if not perfect, but you would be a fine speaker. You would start from being a hesitant speaker to being a powerful communicator. And these are the things which we'll be discussing right over here. uh, and now, without delaying, I would like you to introduce to my guest, who's Robin Wright. And he has not only mastered the art of public speaking, but he has also taught people how to become an effective public speaker, right? Because he himself is also a master communicator. To let me share with you some experiences, right? We've been working together for quite a long time, and we share the same kind of goals. We share the same kind of ideas, and that's why we have decided to help people building powerful communication skills. Because if they have these skills, then they'll have many opportunities, and they'll be capitalizing on all those opportunities which involve public speaking. So, yes, now I would like Robin to introduce himself, and I want him to talk about his experience and what inspired him to become a public speaker, and the kind of difficulties, the kind of hurdles he had been through during his journey to becoming a public speaker. Over to you.
Okay, first of all, a very good evening to you. And my name is Robin Verma, and I'm a lawyer by profession. So it's okay. Someone when calls me a public speaker, but public speaker probably is not my profession, but it's a indirect benefit to me because when you are a lawyer, you have to attend meetings, you have to attend some seminars, and there you have to present yourself. And moreover, a lawyer is a lawyer when he participates into discussions, debates, and contains a hell amount of knowledge from all backgrounds, from different disciplines, right? So this is what my introductions could be for the time being. Apart from this, the and title you gave me, first of all, I'm really happy and I give you a very heartfelt thanks that you called me a master of public speaking. To be very honest, I'm not I'm not a master of public speaking, but it's just like we have experienced a lot. We have been into this business for over quite time. So we can say we have gained that at least confidence. So perhaps it sounds that we are very confident in whatever we speak. But apart from this, being master is a very cumbersome responsibility, right? So
Yeah.
when you call yourself master, you actually feel yourself burdened with a lot of expectations. And when you have a lot of expectations on you, it's very possible and it's very likely that you are going to miss something. You're not going to give your 100%. So it's always better to be a student. And this is for all the viewers. Never treat yourself as a master. Whomsoever you are,
We are not
whatsoever
actually,
knowledge you
but the thing is, we enjoy, learning this particular art, and we are a learner. We are learner. We are still a learner, right? And we are student of, for life. Uh,
yeah,
we have learned, very little, and the thing is that we just want to help people, especially who are willing to build communication skills. uh, this is a powerful, I would say, skill if people master this, although mastering something is never possible for us. Some people are maybe better than us, but they themselves don't think that they have achieved what they are dreaming of. So now, yeah, you continue now.
right. So back to your question. Your question is very relevant. What inspires me to be a public speaker and what all those obstructions and hindrances which I faced throughout the journey. I'm honestly speaking, I never thought of being a good public speaker, but I'm very much ascertained of the fact that there are certain links which actually help me to be a public speaker. For instance, being an avid reader of books of different disciplines gives you a, a, a very different level or different degree of exuberance in you. So when you yourself feel replete with knowledge of all kinds, you always find some partners with whom you can speak, with whom you can share things up, and with whom you can add some more value to the points with a proper bi-directional conversations, right? So throughout my journey, with a level of books and devouring like someone gorge food as I did with the books. So when I contained a lot of the data from different books, I found some partners and I also went into discussions with different peoples. I participated in n number of debates. So this made me to a level of speaker, or led me to that level of speaker where I could comprehensively carry out my point, put across my point, and this is what I think is what people may call me, and for what people may call me a good speaker. But trust me, there is not a direct connection with my a thoughtful learning process to be a public speaker. This is an indirect connection which I'm trying to draw just because of you asked me this question. And what is the beauty of this when you try to draw an indirect link with your particular kind of achievements is that you always process into the directions where you never felt yourself burdened with a lot of responsibilities and expectations. So, for examples, you want to be something in your life, so you always be very much focused on that particular point. So it also gives you some sort of pressures, mental pressures, right? So I tried rather to be my journey more enjoyable, more cheerful, and I enjoyed everything which I learned throughout the journey. and that is what reflects through my communication skill, that what reflects through whatever I speak with the people, whatever I do with the people in terms of communications and conversations, right? So this is what I can say about my overall being a public speaker. Now let the people decide how they find me. See, public speaking is just like a general business, right? So
Yeah.
it's just not like who is better than, it is just like the topic at hands, right? So if you are well versed, skilled, and conversant on the topic, obviously you'll be doing something better. And when you are dealing with something which is not of your interest, of your nature, then obviously you cannot perform well in this subject. So I love to give priority much to knowledge. Then comes public speaking. Public speaking becomes a public speaking only when you have a lot of data in your mind. What will language will do in this when you don't have data, content, right? So
Yeah.
language is like a hollow wire. You have to put something into that to process it.
Yes.
So this is the knowledge which makes everyone a good communicator. Now moving to the next question of this, those hindrances. Speaking to this, I will say that I never found any hindrances, any obstructions, because I had never expectations with me, especially on this front. So when you don't have expectations from yourself, you are very free, and you are very much like a free flowing boat on the streams, right? So you are enjoying every moment that is coming to you. I focused more on every moment of my delving into books. It's itself a very fascinating feeling, a kind of very mesmerizing feeling when you try to live those powerful thoughts of those mind gogglings, philosophers of life. When you try to see the life from their standpoints, it itself makes you very enlightened, right? However, you don't pretend to be enlightened, but it makes you feel that you have gained a lot of things. Now, what makes it more, you know, uh, interesting and what makes it more meaningful is that you are able to give your particular conclusion to what you have read, right? So to this I'll say that I never had any compulsion on me because I never thought to be a good public speaker, but my journey was very good and I was really happy with what I had in my hands. Moreover, I enjoyed every part, including reading books to writing things and then having a bi-directionals and multi-directionals, conversations with different people across the globe from different platforms, from different seminars. So hindrances are like, maybe some people find it, some people don't find it, but it's okay. I think it's a part of a learning process. Many people find its hindrances, but I would love to say them that it is just a very common place thing which one must neglect, rather be focused on what is good for the learning and what is good for the objective that you're trying to achieve. Over to you.
Yes, Miss, before I ask you another question, I would like something to share with the audience. Actually, we have created this episode for one of our, I don't know whether the person was a subscriber to this channel, or I mean, somewhere, I got a comment from a person that we should be creating some videos on public speaking, because this is much in demand, these days. One more thing that we really want people to have command over this this particular skill, and that's why we are here. This is a live conversation. There is no editing. Actually, we never go for editing kind of thing, because what we believe is that if you want to become a good speaker, then you should not be focusing on editing and all, because whenever you address a good number of people, you go live. You don't, you cannot edit there, right? There is no option like editing, and removing or doing something else. So why not going without editing and all? So that's why now we have created this video, and this is unedited, no editing, nothing. And soon we'll be coming with some series, wherein we'll be teaching people how to become fluent in English, and we'll also be telling them what kind of things they need to become a good speaker when it comes to speaking this English language. Yes, my next question I want to ask you is. Can you suggest some techniques or some practices which helped you to overcome your nervousness or stage fright? Because I mean, I myself, I've experienced this stage fright because being, actually, I've been up to my ninth class, my education has been from village, and then I've been a Hindi medium student throughout my life, and I've been educating myself from these government schools. So I didn't miss. I have never had the kind of exposure which students have nowadays. So I didn't know the kind of facilities students usually have. So I had this stage fear, fright when I first mounted the podium to deliver a speech. My just mind went blank. I had nothing in my mind because of this, public fright, this public speaking kind of thing. I had this stage fright, and then I made a promise to myself that particular day that from now day onwards I would be giving myself a challenge to means I would never remain backward in coming forward. Whenever I get a chance, I would just go and just deliver something. And I started with those morning, assembly thoughts. As you know, this happens in schools, and this is, what I would say, what infused confidence in me, what boosted my confidence, and now I can address good number of people. So this is, what I want you to talk about. That what kind of practices would you suggest people? What kind of techniques would you suggest people that helped you overcome your stage fright? Over to you.
Okay, since this very phrase, stage fright, earlier I was in a kind of thought process that this stage fright probably is literally a stage fright. It is just because of when people approach to some sort of podium, and when they see a large audience is standing and sitting before them, and all of them having their eyes raised up with some sort of expectations in them from you, and they are wanting you to do something good because they have spent their precious time to join your conversation, to join this particular kind of seminar. So all these things, when just like keep coming to our minds, it obviously feels that we are going and we are likely to commit some mistakes, or such other fears keep arising, right? But if you look at this whole phenomenon, then, because this is what I experienced it, when you try to observe it very minutely, you will find that this is not a stage fright. It is more like your expectations from you, which is at stake. And this is also the expectations of people from you. Both are at stake. And now you are in the process where you think, what if I go wrong? What if something which I really want to produce, I fail to produce? So when these things keep, arising in our minds as a questions, popping up on the screen, we perhaps find ourselves in a kind of blank state, right? And thereafter we go completely mum, and everything ruins thereafter. It happens with many of the people, and this is a very commonplace thing. This is a very trivial part, to be very honest. Since you asked me the kind of remedy which I can provide, especially in this very case, for people to overcome this, first of all, be compassionate as well as be highly sensitive to oneself. I mean, one has to be very receptive. I mean, this stage fright, this stage fear is a natural, aspect. This is a natural learning process, which is actually a part of learning process. So first of all, we need to be very much respectful and grateful towards it, that we are, you know, being stage frightened, or maybe we are, somewhere behaving like a coy, that we are not trying to even address a large amount of people because we are in a apprehension that something might go wrong. The problem arises when we don't give it a due credit. We need to acknowledge is that this exists. First of all, this stage fright does exist, and you have to learn to live with it rather than to overcome it.
Yes.
Every seminar, every possible conversations, conclave, whatever we conduct, whatever we do, one thing must agree with me is that the audience is different, the topic is different, and the ambience is different. When everything is different, how we can expect that we are not the fear again in our mind? So fear will always be there in your mind. It is just like how you how you maintain your fear along with you are communicating throughout. This is how we have to learn. So we have to learn to live with this fear rather than to overpower it. Because the more you try to suppress something, even if it is fear, even if it is anything, it actually becomes even more exacerbated, more aggravated. So you don't need to first of all, suppress it, because if you go on suppressing it, your fear, it will take even a bugbear kind of shape. So then it will be very hard for anyone to tackle, right? The second remedy, which I think a person or a learner must try, especially in the time of learning process, is that whenever they approach to state or kind of podium, when they have to address a large amount of audience, they must go with the blank mindset. Blank mindset doesn't mean that I'm telling them to just like puke everything out, what they have learned, what they have actually prepared as a content. What I'm trying to say is that they don't need to have expectations from them. They always try to process in the way that they are still a learner, and they always be more confident that yes, they are likely to commit mistakes, and they be very much okay with all these things which they can actually perceive before it happens. So when you go with this kind of idea, when you go with this kind of thought process, it actually reduces some of your fear, because everyone knows this. If you go and try to be a part of some spiritual practice, they also tell you that it is the desire of getting and attaining result which causes much fear than a participations in a particular activity. This is a reality. So we don't need to be very much a kind of highly active as to how we can gain it. It's what if we really want to do something, that we need to find out how we can you know process it forward and enjoy it simultaneously. So this feeling of enjoyment and this feeling of sharing something as well as being shared with something, it's perhaps reduces a lot this kind of stage fear. And as you go along with your process of learning, and when you do number of events such like, then yes, you become a more confident speaker, because you are habitual of committing mistakes, as well as people have accepted you that you commit mistakes as a normal person does. As a spiritual or a guru can even you can hear him saying that humans are with their inherited four defects, that they are likely to commit mistakes. So they are likely to commit mistakes as one of those four defects. So don't expect much from you. Moreover, go with the blank mindset and enjoy entire stage and try to share things up and be calm. I think this is going to be best remedy for tackling and for handling such strange frightening situations, especially in the initial phase of your learning communication skills. Over to you.
Yes, this is in a very nicely said, because I've also experienced the same thing when I started to know this my public speaking journey. I also felt the same kind of thing when I delivered my speech for the first time. I was not actually that confident. I just wanted to have people spellbound with my communication skills, and the more I expected of myself, the the worse I know I did. And then once I started thinking that I should be focusing on delivering, I should be focusing on the delivery of my speech rather than focusing on committing mistakes. And once I stopped focusing too much on being right or being accepted by people, I started committing fewer and fewer mistakes, because and that's where I started focusing on my messages which I want to convey to people, right? So you have to, once you have means the first time you're going to deliver, that you may make mistakes, you may be that much confident, but as you progress, or as as you start delivering more and more speeches, as you started facing people more and more, this will make you confident, and this will turn you into a very confident kind of a speaker. Yes. Next question I want to ask you is, can you tell me what's the importance of storytelling in public speaking, and how people can develop this skill of storytelling? Because I know that whenever any speaker, be it be it a international speaker, or national level kind of speaker, whoever they are, they use the same kind of method whenever they deliver any seminar, whenever they deliver a speech. They go with anecdotes, and they go with storytelling, and this makes their speech very effective. This makes their speech very, people can relate themselves with that, I mean with whatever the person is saying. So now you got to tell me that how much important, or how important public these storytelling skills are when it comes to public speaking, and how can a person develop storytelling skills? Yeah, over to you.
Okay, I mean, I'm reminded of one very fine proverb and aphorism, which is very much correlated with this of your question, and which goes like this: that small dynamites are always come in a small packages,
Hmm.
right? So you might have heard this very proverb, and it well suits to this very questions. When you talk about story, and especially in the context of why we need to have a bit story kind of preparations right before we go and address a large audience, a story just like a capsule, according to me, which actually contains the entire gist, which actually you want to serve through your just 1 or 2 minutes of delivery of your lecture, because it gives a certain presentations to a large audience. Just by hearing a story, a person, the large audience which is hearing you patiently, gets enthralled, gets encouraged, and gets moved on earlier when they were not, or somewhere they were in a depressive state. So this story is a very significant and plays a very substantial role in all sorts of public speakings. In fact, it is not just limited to public speaking. It is also limited. It goes to that extent where you do some companies, conferences, and meetings, because these stories are just a lesson for the people, right? These stories are just like a capsule of encouragement, which actually boldens up or emboldens people for doing something which they think they cannot do, right? So it is a kind of instrument, an encouraging instrument. I would love to say this, right? So for this, I would love to say that yes, story is a very significant part. Now, how we can develop this storytelling as a part of our communication skill, especially when you go and address people. See, storytelling, as we all know, storytelling is something which just purely deals with the narrations. It is more like a narration. The best you are at your tenses. I'm using this very word tenses because when you narrate a particular story, it deals with a certain kind of time period. It could be retrospective, it could be prospective, right? So when you have a good, hold or a clutch, especially on this very tense kind of technical part of English language, you are supposed to deliver a very calculated story, right? And as well as it provides a complete data in a sense that what actually you want to deliver to your, because you as a speaker must think yourself that all these people are your priorities who are actually coming there to listen to you, right? When people come to listen to their public speaking or such kind of speakers, they actually expect a lot of things from them. Okay, the first and the foremost thing this public speaker does, that it actually gives them a kind of ripple through feelings. It infuses and it instills as a confidence into them, and this is only a story which can play this very significant role in this. So, storytelling, according to me, is a very important aspect of a public speaking, and it develops not only your personal public speaking, your own communication skills, because a narration deals with each and slight and a very minute, aspects of a particular incident that is on progression, right? So you learn a lot of things from the story itself, because when you practice storytelling, it is you learning as well as you make people learn through your learning of the story. So in all that manners, I actually give my 100% reliance over this storytelling, and this is, I think, pretty good for every public speaker who actually must at least try it and provide and actually try to put across their meaning or put across their particular kind of topic, whatever they have, with the help of this public speaking, starting in the initial or the inception of a particular conversation. So over to you.
Yes, means stories telling skills, are really required if you are aiming at, becoming a powerful public speaker, because storytelling can inject some kind of, humor in a dull conversation, right? Because at times, if you are delivering any speech, if you are conducting any seminar, or if you are, if you are, you can start delivering some kind of information to people. At times, this becomes boring, and your public speaking skill, public storytelling skills can turn this. These boring moments into and I was enjoying enjoyable kind of moments, right? So
Right.
public storytelling is really very much required, and when it comes to teaching as well, you cannot expect people to be listening to you all the time with the same kind of emotions. They need some transition, right? They have means they want some kind of uh, changes. They want you to be sometimes they want you to be humorous, sometimes they want you to be very emotional. You should be touching the people's emotions, and this can only happen if you are a powerful storyteller. The next question I wanna ask you is, how important do you think body language is when it comes to public speaking, and how can people improve their body language? Because it is said that what we don't speak, our body speaks, right? What we don't speak, our eyes speak. When you keep quiet, people can understand what is going means what you're going through, because your eyes speak a lot, your whole body speaks a lot, and which is why people can sometimes reach conclusions that whether you are willing to do something or not, because they can see expressions on your face, they can see your body language, and they just draw conclusions, right? So this is what I'm going to ask you: how important body language is when when a person is performing some kind of public, they're performing any uh, means performing something, or they're delivering a speech, or they're interacting with people. So, what kind of body language they should be exhibiting, or how they can improve it?
Okay, before I go and respond to this of your questions, I want to know how much time we are left with
We've
because
got 9 minutes, and then we'll be wrapping it up. We'll be coming, so we will have the same topic for the next video as well, because we just want to make this a comprehensive series on public speaking skills.
right. Okay, so coming back to your question, for see your question. Sorry, can you
The
please
question is,
remind me of your question?
what role does body language play when it comes to public speaking, and how people can improve their body language?
Okay, body language. I mean, okay, I read it somewhere. I'm not actually consciously able to find when actually I read it, but there was a term, and the term was like your body plus environment equals to language. Means body plus interactions environment or environmental interactions equals to language. So if you go with this very natural process of learning language, or you can say a formation of language, then you will learn to know that it is your body language that is something which comes first. Thereafter comes your voice. So for example, I mean, if we assume it that how this entire language could be possibly formed, so one may find it out with the self experiments that probably we are not here with this ready-made language patterns that we use, right? It is how we formed it. And this could possibly be formed with the help of our continuous, consistent interactions with the environment, right? So our bodily interactions with the environment, our body includes everything. It includes signs, signatures, symbols, and those tiny sounds which we would often create at times when we didn't have this kind of a perfect, organized, systematic language, pattern for speaking, right? So if you learn and try to understand the substantiality of this signs and this body language, then we will find that yes, body language plays a very key role. I mean, if someone is not able to speak, doesn't mean that he is not communicating, right? I mean, let's take an example of pantomime is a kind of a game
Yes,
or a sign language. A
yeah,
sign language is used for dumb and deaf people, right?
Yes, we just
So
act out, whatever, we're gonna do, just act it out.
absolutely. So this is how we do with the help of science. We When you grow with your learning process, when the students who are recently enrolled in this kinds of learning, language learning programs, they really don't realize the importance of science and this kinds of signatures and gesture and the postures. But as they progress their learning, they they gradually learn it how it is important, how it is important. For example, if you compare writing with communication skills, then we are very much comfortable in writing, probably because we have a whole time to write it. We have all those signs and symbols, all those punctuations that actually reflect our overall message, the intensity with which we want to convey our message to a party, right? But here when we communicate, you don't have those punctuations, you don't have those grammaticals, signs, signatures, which are really possible in when you write it. So what we can do if you don't have these punctuations to use, especially in the spoken, it is your body language that actually replaces all those punctuations when you actually communicate with people. So your body speaks a lot. Many people don't have their exact you know uh, way of dealing with the thing, situations, right? It is just because of these people maybe don't have much memorizing power of vocabs to actually counter the particular aspect of the situations, and therefore they use more their hands, more their body, more their eyes and lips in order to put across their message to a person, right? And they
Yeah.
successfully do it. You
Yes.
will we know this pretty well, that when you communicate with people and when we communicate with people, yes, what happened? Is there an issue?
Nothing, actually, means, just wait for we have got just 2 minutes, right? And we're gonna wrapping it up. Just 2 minutes.
Sure.
So, are you done with your point?
Okay, I just finish it up. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is this: body language is a key part, and a person must try to utilize it in order to put across their message. Because if you go with this absence of body language, you will be very much kind of spiritless, because your language must be highly spirited. It must be full animated. Those who listen to you must be feeling that he is listening to someone. And when you don't add to your body gesture, your postures, your overall body signs, it doesn't make your communication more impactful, right? Especially when you go to the stage, and when we have a stage, a sprawling area, if we don't use that stage using our hands, using our everything, the body symbols and signatures, what kind of impact we are going to create? So we have to think from that aspect too. Over
Yes.
to you.
Yes, and now we've got a lot to discuss, right? So we'll be discussing the other points in next episode. We'll be having
Sure.
soon, and because now it's time to wrap it up, and that means saying, I mean, taking bidding adieu to you. But yes,
Sure.
we will have another episode of the same, the same
Sure.
topic. We'll be doing it, next time. For the time being, I'm taking a leave, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Take care. Bye.